Katie Harris. I'm a spokeswoman for AFT Customs. We're here at the AMD World Championships in Sturgis, South Dakota, and I'm here with AFT Customs. This is Jim, the mastermind, Cindy and Shelby, and they're a couple of the models. And we have one of the bikes on show. This is Cinto. And Jim, tell me about the concept of this bike. Tell me about the name first.
Yeah, the name is Cinto, and that's Japanese for the beginning, and that's really how we came up with this bike. It represents the first street bike that I ever bought and customized when I was 18, and so that was my beginning. And then it also represents the beginning for all of the AFT Customs girls in custom bike building, because when you first start doing anything as a career, you have a beginning, and that's when it's new and fresh and it's exciting, and then you build on that. You do it because you love it, and so that's why we came up with the name.
Okay. What about the bike build in itself? What was this concept?
The concept is a cafe racer. They're really big right now. We haven't done one. They're fun bikes to ride. They're very practical. This particular engine is the Honda CB750, which they came out with in 1969. This is a 1975 engine, but this bike really changed the motorcycle industry at that time. And they're making a big resurgence, these engines are, so we really wanted to do a full custom, something that hadn't been done before, with the upswept exhaust that went in the frame. We used a single carburetor, which really nobody perfected that on these that we know of. And so that was really the whole, we were basically taking an old style of the cafe racing and modernizing it.
Okay. Tell me about the front end. What do we have going on here?
The front end is, it's off of an R1 Yamaha sport bike. We used a very unique steering stabilizer on the front, which we haven't seen in the custom market yet. You know, we used Behringer brakes. They're one of our sponsors. The whole brake system is Supermoto. We have a MotoGP brake adjuster. That's what that cable is that's coming out. That's a prototype that we have, the only one in the United States actually. That's from Behringer. And then we used LED lighting in the front, and then the Behringer hand controls.
Okay. Anything specific in this area, or moving on into the gas tank?
Yeah, the gas tank, we hand pounded that out all ourselves. Cindy is one of our certified TIG welders, and she TIG welded the whole tank together. We wanted it to hold a certain amount of fuel so that you wouldn't have to stop every half hour. So the bike is very practical. It has a Moto Gadget speedometer on it and tach. So the bike has full instrumentation, and it has full street legal lighting on it as well. So it is a street legal bike, even with a horn.
Okay. What about the gas cap? Somebody mentioned that caught their eye.
Yeah, the gas cap is made by a friend of ours called Greg Westbury. It's really a cool machined piece of aluminum set into a stainless steel bung. And what we do in our bikes is we try to incorporate some pieces from all of our friends in the industry. Like there's Kraus Motor Co. has some pieces that they make for us on there. TPJ Customs, our friend Brian, did a fantastic job on the frame. He allowed Cindy to come in and do some of the TIG welding on it. And so we really like to bring in some of our friends to have little pieces on the bike, because our company really kind of is all about friendship and the relationships that we have in the industry.
Okay. What about the shapes? We've got the gas cap, some of the bolts going on. Did you pre-plan all that out special, or is this just how it meshed together?
Yeah, we like to use the unique fasteners on the bike. The tank just kind of fit the frame. You know, we designed the tank last. You know, we used K&N air filters, which are one of the sponsors of the AMD World Championships, and we build our own motors. You know, Cindy and some of the other girls built the motor, and Shelby did the valve job. We use Kibble White valves, for example. Some of the parts that we source out on the bike we get through Tucker Rocky and Biker's Choice. And then we have a lot of sponsors that I need to mention. Miller Welding is one of the sponsors of the girls, Avon Tire, Behringer Brakes, Leo Vinci Exhaust, Race Tech Suspension. So Race Tech actually took and they custom made these shocks just for this motorcycle. These are very precise racing shocks that they made for us. So we try to get all of our sponsors involved and let them kind of create a little bit along with what we're creating, and it makes for a really good working environment.
Okay. Anything towards the back that we should go over?
We talked about the single carburetor, which is a very unique feature of the bike. This is a 4-cylinder engine. So, you know, Cindy made the, TIG welded up the intake manifold. It was a real difficult piece to make. The exhaust, obviously, is very unique. And, moving back into the oil tank, this is a dry sump engine, so you have to have an oil tank. So the tailpiece is the oil tank. One of the other girls hand pounded out all the sheet metal for it, and Cindy TIG welded it. The wheels are all custom. We use Honda CRF motocross hubs and the brake rotors and all that. And then again, the rear brake system is by Behringer. But Shelby laced one of the wheels and trued it, and one of the other girls laced and trued a wheel. So out of the 8 girls, they all participate, throughout the build, and they all kind of gravitate towards what their interest is and what they like to do most. So really the whole bike is very unique in its shape and its design. It only weighs 420 pounds, which is 10 pounds lighter than an R1 that we weighed the same day on the same scale. One of the other unique features is the tail light, which not the tail light, but the license plate, which you can't see on the camera. But in California, you can't run a vertical plate anymore, so we made one that rotates. So when you want to show it or park it, you can rotate it up, and when you want to actually travel, then you rotate it down. So it's made to run either way.
Okay. Well, Jim, let's move on to the modeling agency. You don't really see a lot of girls that actually work on the bikes and then get photographed with them because they're part of the company. So tell me how you came up with the concept of adding girls to your bike building world.
It really started with a good friend of mine who worked in our booth, and she was very professional and obviously very attractive, and people from other companies wanted to hire her. So I got her to get her friends involved and start this agency, and it's really become like a family. There's been about 18 girls total, and their lives change. They have families, they start businesses, they work out of it. But right now we have 8. Katie obviously is one of the girls that works with us, and it's been an amazing thing for us marketing-wise, but the girls really, what it's done in their lives and how it's enriched them and the empowerment that it's given them and the confidence. I mean, you can really see the change as they progress through this, and from the first week and their first photo shoot to sometimes years later, the change that it's made in their life, it's been really positive. And I mean, I think the girls could probably answer it better than me.
Okay. So. Well, yeah, Cindy, how long have you been doing this?
This is 3 years. I was lucky enough to know somebody, Melanie, who was actually involved with AFT, and I am fortunate enough to meet Jim and all the girls and work with them and learn, and now the bike industry will be a part of my life forever.
Okay. And then you did a lot of work on this bike, right?
Right.
Tell me what all you did.
Well, I helped Brian do a little bit of the welding on the frame. I also TIG welded the exhaust and wrapped the pipe as well, and welded the swing arm, the fill tank, and the gas tank, and did a lot of the assembly on the engine.
Was anything in your mind stick out that was super hard, or what was your favorite?
We had a difficulty a little bit with the engine, putting it together. It's a bigger engine, so it was a little bit harder. It took 2 girls to do it this time. And then also, I think wrapping the exhaust is really hard because you have to get that perfectly down, and it just has to look smooth and good. And so that was really hard to do. It took 2 people to do that as well.
Shelby, I'm moving on to you now. Tell me about how long you've been with AFT Customs and what your favorite part of the bike is.
I've been with AFT Customs for 3 years as well. Cindy and I came on around the same time. I was lucky enough to be best friends with Suki, we actually did a bike for. One of the AFT girls who worked with us had her own personal bike made, and I came in at the very end of that. She told Jim that she wanted me to become one of the girls, and somehow he let me in, so I was pretty stoked. But yeah, I've been here for a while now and just kicking it with the girls and having fun. They're all a part of my family now, and my favorite part of the bike was definitely lacing and truing the wheels. It is a very meticulous craft to learn and a skill but it's been great and it's fun.
All right.
And then one thing I wanted to mention too was that the girls started racing at Bonneville last year with the bike that we brought to AMD last year. So Shelby and Suki actually rode on the salt. They did very well, and we're going to build another bike next year that we'll bring here that we're going to take back to Bonneville. And then one of our next builds also will be Shelby's personal bike, which will be a sport bike, which is going to be new for AFT Customs. We actually did sport bikes back in the 90s, but people really weren't into them that much. So we've been kind of waiting. We've got a design that we've been playing with. So I think one of our next bikes is going to be a sport bike for Shelby.
All right. Anything else, girls? I think we got it. All right. I'm Katie with AFT Customs at the AMD World Championships.
Now, as Neil gets ready to announce the first place for Performance Custom, you need to understand one of the other objectives to bring in these type of motorcycles is so that we can share concepts among builders. And I think it's proven true that the level and the different technology that's been used here is just going to continue collaborations that will give us some of the most exciting motorcycles. So with that, I'd like to know who is first place in our new exciting Performance Custom.
In first place, from Jackson, California, Jim and AFT Customs, the AFT girls, with their bike Cento. AFT Customs, ladies and gentlemen. Raise the roof. All these girls worked on the bike. They're TIG welding certificated. You can see them all working on the AFT website. Fantastic. First place. AFT Customs also receive a K&N certificate.
I'd like to explain the modified Harley-Davidson.